Hello and welcome to Rotted Reviews. So this isn't going to be a normal movie review. This is more just a casual conversation. This is going to be a spoiler-filled deep dive discussion, my general thoughts without any inhibitions or what have you about spoilers for the new movie that just came out today, Prey, the new movie in the Predator franchise. I was seriously impressed with this film. I don't know about the rest of you. I would love to hear your feedback and your comments on this, but I thought this was absolutely a phenomenal film and the absolute right way to go for if they were going to continue this franchise. This is absolutely one of the best ways that they could have done it. And this is a franchise that is notorious for not always choosing the best ways to move forward. And in this case, by moving forward, they move backwards and obviously set it in the early 1700s. I want to say 1719. I really dug everything about it, in all honesty. And I think that that's something that I was very impressed with more than anything else is from a storyline point of view. You almost have to ask the question, what if not Predator? To evaluate, the best way to make a Predator movie is to not make a Predator movie. That goes for so many other types of films. Because let's just be absolutely honest here. Predator is little more than a concept. It's an alien species that comes down to Earth, has this credo of hunt versus, predator versus prey, that kind of thing. But respecting the hunt, trophy collectors, things like that. But, there's some rules in place, some respecting the nature of things. And within that, that's pretty much it. Find its adversary and so on. So short films can easily get away with just having concepts. Fan films can easily get away with just having concepts. But feature-length motion pictures need to have more than that. So really the question becomes is if you take Predator, that variable, that concept out of the equation, what are you left with? Is it a solid story? Do you have solid characters? Do you have good conflict? Do you have well-written dialogue? Do you have things framed well? Do you have good, cinematography to accompany it? Is your score good? What about this beyond Predator makes this a good movie? And if you can't answer that, or if the answer is less than satisfactory, then it's not going to work. I don't care how many aliens and predators and so forth you throw at it. It needs to have a good foundational element as a good movie primarily. And in this case, it absolutely did. The characters were fantastic. Our lead characters, especially Naru, was just amazing. Well fleshed out, great, the inner conflict that was kind of happening with her, trying to prove herself, with her mother, saying, there's more to a hunt than just proving yourself. There's survival. The relationship with her brother was just top notch as far as, the adversarial yet at the same time loving and nurturing kind of dynamic that they had going on with one another was fantastic. So much of this movie worked beyond being a Predator movie. And then the Predator elements obviously get inserted and fantastic all in that right as well. I love that we had more visceral, a little bit less polished in terms of alien technology, aesthetics, things like that. It really felt like, and I know that this is kind of touched on in terms of when a predator will go and insert themselves into an environment for the hunt, that they will often acclimate themselves for that environment so that, if you just go around with a laser that just pew, 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 then it's no fun. There is that fundamental respect of the hunt, and in that it does need to have some element of challenge to it. So, there is the preparation and acclimation with the technology and so forth that they will bring with them. And in this case, it was just the most perfect predator and the most perfect weaponry and technology and that kind of thing to go with this environment, with these characters, with this entire thing. And it just worked so well. And I think for the first time since the first film, we really got a good display of just how powerful this creature and this race is. So, and that kind of leads into what, one of the most fundamental aspects of this or of the franchise that this movie touched on extraordinarily well. If we take the first film, everybody's, I've heard plenty of arguments from incels out there right now about, how BS this movie is, because you look at the discrepancies between the two. And I just like the Predator was lifting a bear. And easily making short work of it. Size difference, whether you're, a teenage, girl or Arnold Schwarzenegger, it doesn't matter. Not when you're up against the Predator. When it comes to hand-to-hand combat, Schwarzenegger got ragdolled. His entire team of the most elite military outfit in the world got just decimated. And the only chance that Schwarzenegger had was when he applied his cunning, when he actually started, thinking of it like a hunt and, really sizing up his adversary, learning his weaknesses, and using his environment, so on and so forth. So it's not about brute strength. It's about the cunning that, you can go to be going from prey to predator yourself. It's a common theme. So, yeah, I thought that it worked just extraordinarily well. And honestly, I know this is going to be a little bit controversial, but the problem that I'm having right now is trying to determine whether this is the second best of the franchise or the actual best. As much as I love the first Predator, and I absolutely do, this was just such an ungodly good movie. The first Predator was just an amazing action movie. It was cheesy in its own way. Especially in the first half. It was absolute, just chock full of muscle-bound cheese. But there was some majesty in that as well. I think that this was a more well-rounded, overall quality story, in all honesty. The environment was gorgeous. Oh my God, the setting was so beautiful. It was just pitch perfect for everything about this. I've been fawning over this movie ever since I saw it, and I saw it in English, and I'm going to go back probably today and go and watch the Comanche version. This is one of those rare moments in which I watch a movie, and the first thing that I want to do is talk about the movie, and the second thing I want to do is rewatch the movie. So, if anybody's watching this and don't care about spoilers, but they haven't seen it yet, this is my recommendation. By all means, do. I loved it. Fine-tuned points with it. This was a movie that had a lot of callbacks, which was fun. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Things like that. That was fun. One of the callbacks that was a little bit confusing was the flintlock pistol. And that was only confusing insofar as that was from, engraved with Raphael Adolini, 1715, which... according to, the mixture of movies and novelizations or graphic novelizations, came into play in Predator 1718, a comic book short story first published by Dark Horse, in which Captain Raphael Adolini, leader of a small band of pirates, is suddenly faced with mutiny over a stolen case of gold. And Predator joins the prey, and the pistol winds up going to him. Then we get into Predator 2, where the flintlock is given to Danny Glover's character at the end. Take it. So it's a trophy. So how it winds up in the hands of, chain of custody in the hands of this Frenchman, who then gives it to our main character in this film, I have no idea. The timeline doesn't add up. So the only thing I can really think is it's less canonical and more just a fun callback to previous films. So that's my best take on it. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing a piece of the puzzle. I am not an absolute expert on this. I have not read all the Dark Horse comics. I have not absorbed all the bits and pieces of the media. And hats off if you have. And if you have and you can explain this, please leave comments. I would love to know them. This is actually the flintlock has been a big question mark in my mind, whether or not it's some canonical piece that I am missing a piece to the puzzle. in terms of the timeline chain of custody, or it's simply a callback and I should just not worry about it, which I'm good with if that's the case. But those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. I think I'm going to go and wrap this video up, because if I try to talk anymore, it's just going to be yammering and stammering and not really actually coming up with any real meaning. So I'm ending it. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.